Okay, so hello everyone. Today we will be talking about the truth table, and the logical operators. But before you proceed with this topic, you need to familiarize yourself first about the topic proposition. So you can watch the video on this channel. Okay. So actually, class, the propositions, the truth table, and the logical operators are connected to each other. So you cannot understand this topic if you don't know how to identify identify a sentence if it is proposition or not. Okay, so first let us define first what does truth table means. So a truth table, class, is a table that shows the truth value of a compound statement for all possible truth values of its simple statements. So this truth table, class, will guide us later to identify the truth value of these given compound statements, wherein we need to get the truth value from the possible truth values of its simple statement. So this table, class, is an example of a truth table. This is the truth table for the logical operator negation. Okay, so this will help us later to determine the truth values of these given compound statements. So next, let's proceed with the logical operator. So what does actually, class, we have 7. I think we have 7 logical operators, but we will focus on 5 logical operators, yung mostly na ginagamit. So we have the unary operator and binary operators. So for the unary operator, we have the negation. Okay, negation, for the negation, we read it as not P. Okay, it's just like if the given statement is in positive side or positive, when the teacher will tell you negate that statement, then you negate it, parang gagawin mo siyang negative or its opposite, parang ganon. That is the meaning of negation. So not P, wherein we use the symbol for negation. This one, this is the symbol for negation. So not P. So in words, not P. In symbol, ganyan po. Okay? For the binary operators naman, we have 4. We have the conjunction, disjunction, implication, and biconditional. So for the conjunction, we read it as P and Q. Okay? So in here, as you can see, class, what these letters PQ, ma'am? PQ. So these letters PQ, class, we use these variables. We use these variables to denote the propositions. I already mentioned that on the video proposition. So we use actually PQR are mostly used to denote propositions. These are variables. So PQ denotes the proposition later. So there is a proposition indicated in each variable later on. So for the conjunction, we use the word and. So actually, class, unary operator, we use only single operand, right? So that's why we have only one proposition. But for the binary operators, again, we use the 4 fundamental of operations to connect 2 operand. That's why for the binary operators, we have the and, or, then, if, and only if. So parang it's a counterpart of the operators used for the binary. So for conjunction, we use the word and to connect 2 propositions. So P and Q. And the symbol for conjunction is this one. Okay, ito po. Yan po yung symbol for conjunction. It is an inverted V. Okay. So, binaliktad lang yung letter V. Next, for disjunction naman, we use the word or. So, P or Q. Again, so P or Q and the symbol is V. Yan, V. Pero not actually na mahabang V. Actually, parang mas maluwang siya ito. Mas paluwang siya ng konti. Ganyan. And for the implication, we use the word then. So, if and then, I mean. If and then. So, if P, then Q. So, again, this P and Q are proposition. And the symbol for implication is arrow to the right. Okay. And lastly, the biconditional, we have P if and only if Q. Okay. P if and only if Q. And the symbol for the biconditional is both ends ay merong arrow. Okay. So, these are the unary and these are the logical operators wherein later we will be using the truth table to determine their truth value. Okay? Okay, so let's have the first logical operator, which is the negation. Okay, it is a unary operator. So, a statement is a negation of another class if the word is not introduced in the negative. Not introduced in the negative is, statement. Okay, so here is the truth table of the unary operator negation. So again, we use the variables PQR to represent propositions. So if the proposition, so we have the proposition, the positive statement or yes of the proposition, and the negation of the proposition. So if the proposition is true class, so if the truth value of the proposition is true, when we negate it, of course, the truth value will change kasi we negated the statement or the proposition. So if the proposition is true, then the negation of the proposition will become false. And if the truth value of the proposition is false, when we negate it, then the truth value will become true. Okay? So, or we can use the truth table, but I prefer to use the TF. P not P. So 1 0 0 1. Diba? I already mentioned that about from the topic proposition. Okay. So let's have an example. So we have two examples here. We have two proposition P and R. So proposition P, we have square root of 2 is a rational number. So we will make this proposition into negation. Ine-negate natin siya. So proposition P, square root of 2 is a rational number. When we negate it, that will become magiging ano? What is the counterpart of the rational word? So magiging square root of 2 is, so not P, will become square root of 2 is not rational number, or pwede ring not P, square root of 2 is an irrational number. Right? We have the real number system, the rational and irrational. So, we already negated the proposition P. So, now, let's first identify the truth value of the proposition P. Square root of 2 is a irrational number. Is it true or false? Okay, so square root of 2 is not a rational number, class. Therefore, the truth value of P is false. Okay? F po yan. Now, yan. F ha? F yun sa proposition natin. Now, we need to prove that if the proposition P is false, when we negate it, the truth value will become true. So, dito na tayo. Square root of 2 is not a rational number. I already mentioned that a while back. So, it is true. Square root of 2 is an irrational number. Yes, it's true. Okay? So, that's how the truth table works for the propositions. For the negation. Next, let's have letter B. I will erase this one because I don't have any spaces anymore. Okay? Letter B, we have the proposition R. 6 is an odd number. When we negate it, that will become, not R is, 6 is not an odd number. But I prefer the opposite of odd is 6 is an even number. So, I prefer na you need to think the counterpart of the word used from the proposition, class. Hindi lang yung puro not lang yung gagamitin natin. So, not are. So, now let's identify the truth value of the proposition R. 6 is an odd number. It is false. Yes, false po yan. Now, false yan. So, we need to negate the proposition that wherein the truth value is true. So, not R. 6 is not an odd number. Yes, true. Because 6 is an even number. Okay? So, that is the use of, how negation works. Okay? Okay, next let's have the conjunction and the disjunction. So for the conjunction, class, this is the symbol. For the disjunction, this is the symbol. For the conjunction, we use the word and, for the disjunction, we use the word or. So this is the truth table for the conjunction and this is the truth table for the disjunction. As you can see, class, there is a difference between the truth table of the negation to the conjunction on negation to the binary operators. So, sa negation kasi, class, dalawa lang yung rows dun sa truth table natin. Wherein sa conjunction, disjunction, implication, and the biconditional, 4. But it depends also with the given proposition. Since the negation, we use only one proposition, which is P lang, kasi nga unary lang po yung negation natin. Then, we have two possible answer for the proposition. It can be either true or false. So, we have a formula to get the combination of the proposition, because we have the 2 raised to n. Wherein n here, class, is the number of the proposition. So, since for the negation, we have one proposition, then we have 2 possible answer, which is true or false. In here, we have 2 proposition, so 2 raised to 2, we have 4 possible answer of each proposition. So, pwedeng true, true, false. It can be true. Pwedeng true ulit. Pwedeng combination na lang tayo para mas madali. So, pwedeng yung dalawang proposition, pwedeng both are true. Pwede ring both are false. Pwede ring the first one is true and the second one is false. And pwede ring the first one is false and the second one is true. Kaya meron tayong 4 na rows dito. Kung later, kung magkakaroon tayo ng 3 propositions, yan, meron tayong 8 combinations. So, magkakaroon tayo ng 8 rows later dito. So, we will try. So, I will give an activity later or drill about these 8 combination with 3 proposition. So, for the conjunction class, anong na-observe nyo dun sa table ng conjunction? So, you can see here that the truth value of the conjunction, if both propositions are both true, then the truth value is true. Tama? Yes. So, dalawa, yung truth value ng each proposition natin ay both true, then the truth value with the using the combination or using the logical connective end, then the truth value is true. The rest, false na po siya. So, yun yung pinaka-easiest way to memorize or familiarize yourself about the truth table of the conjunction. So, if both of the propositions are true, then the truth value of the conjunction is true. The rest, false. While for the disjunction, it is the opposite of conjunction. So, in here, both propositions are false, then the truth value of the disjunction is false. The rest, true na po silang lahat. Okay? So, remember that para hindi kayo later mag-memorize ng true, 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 false, false, ganyan. So, for the conjunction, if both of the statement or proposition are true, then the truth value is true. And for the disjunction, if both of the proposition are false, then the disjunction or the truth value of the disjunction is false. The rest ay true. Okay, so let's now apply the truth table for the conjunction and the disjunction. We have 2 propositions here, P and Q. So proposition P, all dogs are brown. What is the truth value of P? All dogs are brown. So that is false. Okay, not all dogs are brown. We have also black, we have spots. Yan. Pwede rin pink, ganyan, blue. Pwede silang kulayan, okay? So while the second proposition P, fraction is a rational number. Is it true or false? Fraction is a rational number. Yes, it is a rational number. Therefore, it is true. Now, I have here the conjunction and. So, P and Q. So, all dogs are brown and fraction is a rational number. So, we will identify first the truth value of P. Anong truth value ni P? True. So, dito, that is true. And fraction is a rational number. All dogs are brown is false pala, sorry. Fraction is a rational number, that is true. So, false and true. What would be the truth value? That is false. Okay. So, the truth value of this P and Q is false. Now, class, baka isipin nyo, ma'am, walang connection po yung dogs at saka dun sa rational number. Okay, okay lang yung class. It does not affect the whole compound statement because we will identify each simple statement. We will identify the truth value of each simple statement. So, that's why we have 2 propositions. Okay? So, what if I will negate the proposition P? Magiging not P. Gusto ko not P and Q. So, magiging all dogs are not brown. So, we will include not here. Then, it will change the truth value kasi we negate the proposition P. So, that will become all dogs are not brown. Yes, that is true. And fraction is a rational number, that is true. So, true and true, that the truth value will become true. Okay? So, that is the use of the conjunction class. And I can manipulate also even we have two given proposition here, I can manipulate that and give more activity from these two proposition. Hindi lang not P and Q, hindi lang P and Q, pwede pang ma-manipulate yan. How about if we will, I will erase now this one. How about if we will to use the truth table of the disjunction naman. So, for the disjunction, let's say we have P or not Q. Yeah. So, that will become all dogs are brown, or fraction is a rational, not yung sinabi ko, is an irrational number. Yan. So, all dogs are brown, that is false. Or, fraction is an irrational number, wherein the original proposition fraction is an irrational number. True. We negate it the proposition Q, then that will become false. Okay? Then the truth value of the disjunction, all dogs are brown, or fraction is an irrational number, is false based from the truth table of the disjunction. How about if I want to negate not P? Of course, it will change the truth value later. So, all dogs are brown. The original proposition is all dogs are brown. If we negate it, magiging all dogs are not again. Not brown. Then, that will change also the truth value. Since it is false, then that will become true. So, true or false, then the truth value is true. Okay? So, that's how disjunction, the truth table of disjunction works. So, in here class, you need to analyze first the proposition. If it analyze the truth value of each proposition first before you can determine the entire truth value using the conjunction and disjunction. Okay, so that is the conjunction and disjunction. Okay, so let's have now the implication class. For the implication class, we can read this as P implies Q, or if P then Q, or if P, Q, P only if Q, Q whenever P is a sufficient condition for Q, Q if P, Q is necessary condition for P, yon. So these are possible words to use or on how to read the implication. So, madami. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If P then Q. Yan. 8. So, we for the implication class, we have the truth table here. So, we use the symbol arrow to the right. Wherein for the truth table class, so you can see here, from this truth table, if the proposition is true and the second is false, then the truth value of the implication is false. Then the rest ay true na. Okay? So that is the truth table for the implication. Wherein for P class, we use the proposition P as the premise and the proposition Q as the conclusion. Again, P is called the premise and Q is called the conclusion. Why? Because from the word itself, implication, if and then, yan. So, for example, if it rains, so kung uulan man ngayon, then I bring my umbrella. So, if uulan man ngayon, then I need to bring my umbrella. If I want to pass the exam, then I need to review my lesson. If I want to pass the quiz, then I need to study my lesson. Okay? If I want to top the board, then I need to review, or yes, I need to review more or work hard. If I am hungry, then I need to cook. I need to cook for my food. Or, yun, basta yung mga wala na tuloy akong maisip. Those are some examples of the if and then. So, with a premise and a conclusion. Okay? So, now let's apply the truth table of the implication for an example. Okay, so let's have an example of the implication. So we have two proposition. Proposition P, you get an A. Proposition Q, I'll give you $1. So P implies Q. So if P then Q, that would become, if you get an A, then I'll give you $1. So this is a conditional statement. So I will explain each condition in here that connects to this compound statement. So suppose you get an A. So you get an A, so that is true. So if I will keep my promise that if you get an A, if I will keep my promise that I will give you $1, then that will become true because I keep my promise that I will give you $1 if you get an A. So that is true. But if you get an A, so that is true, then I did not keep my promise to give you $1. So parang joke lang na, sige, if you get an A, then I'll give you $1. But I didn't keep my promise, which is this proposition will become false because I didn't keep my promise. Then the truth value will become false. But what if hindi mo nakuha ang A? You didn't get A, or let's say you failed, which is this satisfies the truth value of the first proposition, false and false. Then whether or not na ibibigay ko yung dollar or hindi, then that will become true pa rin. Okay? So in here, sa condition, you need to analyze the condition class, lalo na kung ganito yung mga compound statement. So, kasi nga implication, it is a conditional statement. So, if you get an A, that is true, then if I will keep my promise, which is true, then that is true. But if you get an A, that is true, then I didn't keep my promise, which is false, then that is false. But if you didn't get an A, which is false and false, so you didn't get an A, but I give you $1, then that is true. But if you didn't get an A, then I didn't give you $1, then that is true pa rin. Okay, so for the implication class, you need to, ito lang yung ifo-focus nyo. That if the first proposition is true and the second proposition is false, then the truth value of the implication is false. Okay, so that is the implication. Next, let's have the last one. Okay, next, let's have the biconditional, wherein the symbol we use is this one, and the word is the if and only if, or this one, the shortcut. So for the biconditional class, this statement P, if and only if Q is true class, if and only if both P and Q or both propositions are either both true or both false. So we can say that the biconditional is true if and only if both propositions are true or false. Then the rest of course is false na siya. Okay? So that is the biconditional. I cannot give any more example here because we will proceed with the third one. As long as you familiarize yourself, about the biconditional, always remember that both propositions are true or false.